Before I said anything, I wanted you to see this. This coffee has no cream, it has nothing added to it, yet it's velvety and it's smooth because it's Nitro. I'm Major Cohen. Welcome to the Cold Brew Lab. If you've ever ordered a Nitro in a coffee shop or a cafe and didn't know what you were getting, this episode is for you. And I have to tell you, if you want Nitro at home, this Cumulus is really for you. In our last episode, you'll remember that we talked about origin. Today, we're going to talk about Nitro. We're going to debunk some of the misconceptions about Nitro and cold brew coffee. We're also going to look at the history and the science behind those. By the end of this episode, you'll understand Nitro cold brew. What you saw when I made this Nitro cold brew seems like a magic trick, but let me explain it a little bit. The air that we're breathing is 78% nitrogen. Nitro uses that air infused under pressure to create this amazing coffee experience. So the Nitro that's in this coffee that I just made is not an additive or a flavor. It's infused with a physical force. There's an actual structural change that puts millions of micro bubbles into the liquid that ends up in the cup. And that creates a texture that is Nitro. So making Nitro cold brew applies the same concepts that were discovered in making Guinness beer. You infuse the liquid with nitrogen, you get this incredible effect. We're gonna get a little scientific right here, and I have to be honest, I'm not a scientist, I'm a coffee guy. But it's important for me to tell you some of the things that I'm gonna share so you can understand it a little better. What we're talking about is a gas. And where you have seen gas in the past is with carbon dioxide. You see it in sodas, you see it in sparkling water, and you might even think those bubbles are the same, but they're not the same. Nitrogen bubbles are smaller, and they have no acidity. They have no flavor. What's in this Nitro is air, remember 78% Nitro, and we infuse that in the coffee. What's interesting is that Cumulus chose air for sustainability and quality. And what that means is that unlike other ways that Nitro is made using tanks and equipment that's accessory to that tank production, Cumulus has essentially created a distinct way of using the air, making sure that the nitrogen from that air is infused in the coffee that you get. And quite honestly, there's no one doing it that way currently. So here's what's going on in this glass. First of all, it's ice cold, below 41 degrees. And that temperature is important because it keeps the bubbles much more stable. Ice cold is the way to do it. It has a sustained head. It's lasting. And when you're using the Cumulus machine, you have 6 or 7 coffee options for Nitro. Think about your experience in a coffee shop. It's usually 1, at best 2. It's never 6 or 7. Now let's talk about pressure and understand that the nitrogen is infused under pressure and millions of bubbles are created simultaneously, which is what creates that beautiful head. And you notice that it's almost flowing downward. Well, the reason it's flowing downward is that those bubbles, millions of them, are denser than the liquid, and so they're sinking in the glass. And gravity is the key. Let me address for you one of the main misconceptions about Nitro cold brew. Many people think that it has more caffeine. I'm going to tell you, it does not. It has about the same amount of caffeine that much coffee would have if you had it hot or iced, I guess until it got diluted with ice, which you never have to do with a Nitro cold brew from the Cumulus machine because it comes out ice cold. I love talking about Nitro because I can remember some times that were among the worst that I had when I was working in cafes, and it had to do with Nitro. When Nitro came on the scene, the only way to make it was with an auxiliary tank of nitrogen, with a side tank of coffee, and then some apparatus that would bring them together. Let me tell you, it was often a mess, and it was often poorly executed. It was one of the hardest things to add to a cafe, and although it was increasing in popularity, so many people loved Nitro, it was really hard to make. The Cumulus solution is an incredible one. Using the word hard is not appropriate. It's incredibly easy. And we take care of all of the pieces. Now, what did I say the pieces were? The tank. Well, the tank, remember, is gone. There's no tank. You have nitrogen being pulled from the air, 78% of it is nitrogen, and it's infused inside the Cumulus machine. The coffee, we're doing the coffee. We're not doing one coffee, we're doing 6 or 7 at a time, and in some cases we bring special coffees. So the coffee is more unique than has ever been available for Nitro. The ease of making a Nitro cold brew with the Cumulus machine is incredible and totally diametrically opposed to anything that I ever remember experiencing when I made Nitro cold brew happen in cafes that I was responsible for. So that gives you some idea of my experience out in the world. When Nitro first came on the scene, it was only in cafes. No one made Nitro at home. Maybe one or two people got a tank and went through all the trouble. Cumulus has solved it for your home. It's quite amazing. If you take a Cumulus machine home and you plug it in and you add water and you use one of our capsules, you're going to make the most beautiful Nitro cold brew at home, not for one coffee, but for 6 or 7 different coffees with no problems. You don't need a tank, you don't need a tap, you don't need any fancy equipment other than the one beautiful piece of equipment, the Cumulus coffee machine. So now you know a lot about Nitro, kind of how it's made. What I want to share with you now is what to look for. In what we've talked about the pour. You saw the pour. The pour has a beautiful cascade. It's almost a slow roll. The head, remember the head formed. And I talked about the head being creamy and smooth. You always want that in a good Nitro. And then that texture, the first time that you sip it, it's going to be velvety smooth. Now, overriding all that is the taste. After you experience the pour, the head, and the texture, what you should be experiencing is an incredibly delicious coffee. There's no point in all the texture if you're not going to experience a delicious cup of coffee in the end. So I'm going to make you another Nitro. So now you're going to look at it a different way. Remember what we talked about. What I'm going to look for and what you're going to look for now is that cascade. As this is pouring into the glass, you notice those beautiful micro bubbles. It almost doesn't look like bubbles, it's so fine. Millions of them. As they get higher, watch what the bubbles are doing. They're falling. And remember why? It's because of the gravity. They're heavier. They're dropping to the bottom. Now, look what's happening here with the head. The head is forming, and what's unique about the Cumulus coffee experience is that that head is going to be consistent, as is the body, way longer than what you would see in a Nitro elsewhere. Why? Remember, it's 40 degrees coming out of the machine. It's ice cold. This is what you can expect when you have a Nitro cold brew the Cumulus way. Now you know Nitro. What we're going to do in our next episode is we're going to talk about the difference between cold brew coffee and iced coffee. I'm Major Cohen. This has been the Cold Brew Lab.